Yo guys, welcome back to another Danmachi Memoria freeze video. Okay, so in today's video I was gonna do the water 7th zone, but I'm still not giving up hope. I'm still trying to cheese it. At the minute it's not looking so great, you know. It's not that it's not cheesable. Sorry, I just like, you know, when you have a list of words that you say over the spread of your lifespan that you just think, wait, what? I do still think it's cheesable. It's just whether it's possible with my current, like with the account in my account's current state. There we go. So instead I'm gonna come over here and we're gonna go over because I know some of you guys have actually asked me in the past about like war game teams and stuff, and I figured the best thing for me to do is to give you a demonstration and actually just explain my war game team in general, rather than just doing like a weird theme team and whatnot, you know, just to play through the earlier levels. Because let's be honest, the earlier tiers are very easy. It's not until you get to king that it really changes anyway. But anyway, so to really get an understanding of how because team building, put it this way, team building for war game is not the same as team building for, say, a boss battle or Familiar Rush or Record Buster, you know, or even Monsterphilia. You know, there are similarities, but there's certain things you need, there's certain priorities that that change places when you're building teams for war game. So in this team, for example, this team has got me to Jester twice. Obviously I'm not like a whale. Well, I've spent money, but I'm not a whale, so, you know, getting to hero is just not gonna happen. Not for me anyway, but I do comfortably get to at least Jester 3. With this team hasn't changed in like the last 4 war games, I think. Maybe longer. No, it's not been longer. Wait, I'm not even sure. My team's been like this since I can't remember. Anyway, my team's been like this for a few war games now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through it and explain why it is the way it is, and then I'm going to demo that a couple of times. So it's going to be more talking than showing how the team is in action in this video. So if that's not your cup of tea, feel free to just, you know, jump off the vid. And a better thing you could do is tell me what you want me to do to make videos or engage you in other videos, and leave it in the comments, and I'll catch you on another video. For those of you that want to stick around, and I'll explain the build and how it works, by all means. Okay, so I'm probably gonna have to start with like the really beginner information. So obviously you're aware 6 slots. Revolving anklets do not work in war games. That's a given. You know, you've got your assists and your adventurers, but on top of that there are also these settings right here. Now, understanding how these settings work can be the difference between losing a win streak or making it to just 3 or not. You know, it's vital basically. So a perfect example here would be Ardi. Now I've set Ardi to heal. All right, so we have a look at Ardi's skills here. We go straight in. Her heal I can't say it now. It's in my head. Her skill 2 is what heals everyone by 30%. Okay. It also lowers physical resist and magic resist, crit and pen rate by 40%. You know, it's great. The problem is, well, not the problem. The thing with that is, that means she's going to prioritize using that skill when allies need healing. If on turn 1, well, it's given that turn 1 no one is going to be, you know, injured or anything, so rather than use her skill 2, because no one needs healing, she will use her skill 1, which gives you the KO resist and the physical resist and magic resist, making turn 1 for Ardi like means I don't need to set it to buff. So if I wanted to prioritize that skill 1, I don't need to set it to buff, because I understand that setting it to heal will make her use her skill 1 on turn 1 anyway, because no one needs healing. After that, obviously she's going to use skill 2 every time, which means, unfortunately, I mean, Ardi doesn't, she only has a single target attack anyway, so it makes no difference. But it's just things like that, and that comes from experimentation. Like if you've got friends on your list and you follow people, let me just go back here for a second. So I go through my friend list here, right? Okay, so if, for example, you want to test out a new team, best thing to do is go to your follow list and battle a friend. I mean, Brave, Brave, maybe not the ideal one. No, we're not gonna do that. Who are we looking for? Why am I on this list? That's okay. I can't battle me apparently. I don't know this person, so we'll go with this person. It's a pretty good team. In fact, it's a relatively, yeah, it is a pretty good team. I would maybe take out the Goblin Slayer unless he uses debuff, in which he'll use skill 1. You know what, that's going off topic. Anyway, so you come into your follow list, you're looking at your friends, and you can battle them. So we'll just do a quick battle here. You know, my recommendation is, if you're testing out a team, you want to see where it goes wrong, where it goes right, put it on ×1. You can watch everything that happens and have icons turned on. That's what I like to do. I will watch over exactly what happens. If something goes wrong, I want to know what turn, in what order, and why. You see, my team is set up for a turn 2 power spike, given that everyone takes turn 1 to set up. And I should be okay now, because I'm pretty sure that, yeah, problem solved. Now, I'm not saying they had an amazingly strong team, but this is what you should be doing if you're trying to find a new team, because experience, don't get me wrong, coming to these videos and understanding how everything works is going to be fantastic for you. It helps you get the basis for the understanding of the knowledge that you're going to get in game, but nothing trumps experience. You know, get your fundamentals, read it from whatever, talk to people, get that information that way, but you retain it through experience. So my advice to you, first advice before anything else, is that if you want to learn how to make good teams, come to your follower list, test out your teams, experiment, learn what goes with what. But that is the way I do things. You know, obviously I communicate. I have friends that are very learned and knowledgeable about the game anyway, so that always helps. Excuse me while I have a drink. But we're 7 minutes in now and I've basically not said anything. So so 2 points to get off with. Try and learn what different settings will do what, especially in consideration to what character you're using, and test your teams. Test them God knows how many times. Just repeatedly test them until you are 100% certain they work in the way you want them to. Now I'm going to go over my team. So Elise is set to debuff, which means she's going to turn 1 use her skill 1, which lowers fire resistance by 40%. Okay, on her I've got outside of rare eyes, increases single target and AoE attacks by 20%. Now don't get me wrong, there are better assists for that, I just don't have them. You know, there are assists out there that are better for war games, because you want to focus more so towards the AoE side, because that's the way the combat works. But single targets counters single target attacks. So eyes here is boosting my AoE and my counters, as well as giving Elise here a 15% buff in strength. RD is here simply to heal, give us the KO resist, the physical resist, magic resist on turn 1. And on turn 2, from turn 2 onwards, going to lower physical resist and magic resist, as well as heal us every turn. Elmina is a supplement. She is a cheap replacement for Light Eyes, who has an AoE buff as well as a guard rate debuff on her skill 1. Elmina here has a debuff on her skill 2 that increases AoE damage by 30%. Sorry, I should have said that Finn is there because best unit in the game, he's best assist in the game. That's just my opinion. He adds everything except crit and pen, as well as defensive resistances, but everything else, he is great. He is so good. The SA charge makes such a massive difference in war games that sometimes it could be the difference. Getting that SA turn earlier could be the difference between a win or a loss. So it's definitely worth having him on there, especially if he's MLB'd. Elmina has the child Seer. Now she's here because she lowers physical resist and magic resist, which is always a plus for a physical rush team like this. But at the same time, she gives us 2 status element removals, which means there twice in any battle if the enemy tries to slow us, stun us, any of the above, we will resist it. Now, if your enemy stacks ailments, it becomes trickier because you can only nullify 2 of them, you know. Coming across here, I have Kaguya. Now, Kaguya is set to buff. Now, I set Kaguya to buff because I understand that this team is a turn 2 turnaround nuking team. So basically, turn 1 is the setup. Turn 2 is where all of my damage comes out to play. So if I set her to buff, that means I will be using skill 2 first to buff my strength and dexterity, and then from there on from skill 2 onwards, she'll be using her skill 1 to attack everyone. Okay, so as long as she has those buffs in play, she'll be doing this. Easy enough to remember, you see. And her using another thing, the new units with the additional attacks are great to counter. Sorry, that was my chair, I promise. Are great to counter assist units like Chloe Lolo, who resist a physical attack. If they're not MLB, they'll only resist 1. If they're MLB, they'll resist 2. So having a unit that brings that additional attack to remove both nullifications, perfect. Coming across to my bench. Now, your bench is going to be pretty important because your bench comes into play when you understand that you've already taken a loss. So in this case, I've already set this up so that Elmina will always, if someone's going to die first, it will always be Elmina, because I've looked at the stats and I've made sure that she is the one holding the lowest level assist, which means she is more likely to die than the others because she is expendable. I mean, you know what I mean, like, not one, like I don't need her, but once she gets her debuff off, she's done and I can bring in the next one. You're probably already aware of the strategy wherein your first benched unit has Chloe Lolo or Estrella. That's because you come in and immediately, most teams after that will probably already be set up and their main source of damage. A lot of teams still continue to use Dark Otal. Now, if that is the case and they've had it from turn 1, chances are turn 1 he's going to set himself up. If not, a lot of people just do attack all, in which case he still buffs himself turn 1 regardless, because he gets a buff on basically every attack. But having a unit that can basically nullify him or stop him from being able to wipe out your team in this instance, it could be the difference between Ardy getting off an additional heal and my team surviving for another turn and me winning the match, or just being completely wiped out. Winter Bell is an amazing unit. I do think, I'm not sure, maybe you guys want a tier list for what I would say PvP units, or I can evaluate the most used units in PvP and explain why. But Winter Bell is a great unit, but one, because he has an AoE that removes strength and magic buffs, which means you can basically use him as an AoE damage dealer on a stall team or a pseudo stall team. And secondly, he also lowers strength, magic, and is it strength and magic? Sorry, the debuff. I've set him to debuff so that when he comes in, strength, magic, and agility. Now, I could set him to attack all, and he will use the attack with the super modifier and remove strength and magic buffs, which, you know, would be great. But if I use debuff, it means he's lowering strength and magic, and at the same time sets it up so that my team next turn becomes faster. And I already know I'm gonna, at least some of them are gonna survive another turn, because he's bringing Estrella with him, and she nullifies 1 physical attack, 1 magic attack. And then finally, my last benched unit, the way I see this, the way I understand it, and my logic is, if I've got to this point where my last unit is coming off the bench, it's a Hail Mary, and I need to do everything I possibly can just to survive. So I've put the assist that's going to give him the largest buff in strength, the largest buff in resistance to make him survive, and then I've set him to a skill that's basically going to come out and just hit everyone, because I need damage and I need it quickly. That's the logic of this team. I'm going to demo it now a few times. Oh, sorry, I did not explain the Alan. Alan is a new member of the team. I recently got him. Before him, I had OVA Hestia on the team because she gives a minus 8% agility debuff, but Alan is so much better. Minus 10% agility, and then the buff in crit and penetration. These are the buffs that Finn is missing, so they complement this team perfectly, and it's amazing. So I'm going to do a couple of battles. Obviously, I'm not that high in ranking yet, so it might be a little bit it's not that great, but it's still worth something. Sorry if you can hear my little one in the background. Sorry about that, guys. I just had to make a quick cut. Little one needed me for something. But okay, so I was quiet for that portion of the video simply because I wanted you to see how the team runs. Now, before I cut the video, and I hope this has been informative and I hope you've been able to follow along, I should tell you that in my opinion, the most important stats to look out for are agility. Sorry, let me rephrase this. The core attributes to look for in forming a good wargame team, for the most part, unless you are, I mean, on a basic level, I need to emphasize that extremely, on a basic level, on your fundamental level for creating a wargame team, you want to increase your agility, lower your enemy's agility, increase your guard rate, and lower your enemy's guard rate. And then, I mean, usually they're coupled together, but if you can increase your guard rate and counter rate, and then lower your enemy's counter rate and increase your counter rate. So basically, counter rate, agility, and guard rate are the three most core attributes for the fundamental creation of a wargame team. I will play it one more time for you guys to see. I know it's not amazing, and I am just in Battle Princess because I haven't really had time to grind it up yet, but I do hope this does help you understand how to build or better your own wargame teams. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I do like to go around. You can ask anyone. I try to absorb as much information from people as possible so that I'm as well informed as I can be. Knowing the limitations of my own account, I'm very much aware of what teams I'm capable of making, which is why my team in itself is still a physical rush team, which is basically the easiest type of team to make. But yeah, guys, I hope you did enjoy the video. I hope you found it at least minimally informative, and if you did, please drop a like. I appreciate every single one of them. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. I always answer. If I've missed your comments in the past, it's because I haven't seen them. But yeah, guys, make sure to drop a like if you did enjoy the video. Subscribe if you're not. Social media links in the description below. And as always, I love you, and I'll catch you later.